Hello, and thanks for joining us on your number one program, political program on radio, political platform. I am your host for today. As Amici is hold up Dr. somewhere. Probably he will join us. Via a telephone. I don't know how the weather is where you are, but this morning, drizzling from my house to the office, and the weather forecast says there's 50% chance of rain, there's 70% chance of rain later in the evening. Well, the rainy season is here, and are we prepared? Rainy season, farming are preparing to go and clear the bushes in their farms. Some they can get fertilizer. That is the weather. That is the weather for you. How is the weather in the political realm? What are people thinking? What are they preparing? What are they? I had peace. Talk about program education. Without peace, we can't structure the road. Government is trying to construct across the city. Without peace, we can't talk about even the politics. Clamoring about. We need peace in Nigeria. I think Dr. Amechi will just start from here. Killings again, Amechi, Dr. Amechi, killings. How do we come to this, Doctor?
Good evening, everyone. It's a collective effort. Yesterday, coalition of civil society organizations came together in a presented manner, issued statement making some nights after lamenting the state of upon the agenda is security, democracy, they say, is eroding institutions, weak judiciary, coming under heavy political influence. But to them, security is number one, and I expect a turnaround. As you mentioned, killings continuing across the country, and it's clear we have to find new ways of dealing with this whole problem.
We have talked about how they involve community leaders. We have talked about community-based relationship, and there is clamor for state policing. I know already some states have community policing, and some regions have regional security guard like the Amotekon. With all these, is it the state police that we need to solve the problem, or should just maintain community policing and let there be a funding? What really is the missing here?
State police cannot help to a limited extent, and we are due. Part of the problem is that when we were supposed to institute state police, politics guided our decisions. Like I keep saying, every federal system, every country that runs a federal government, they have multiple police systems. You don't have governments at lower level without police to enforce their laws. You have a police system that guarantees safety. So Nigeria has come up from slumber after so many of this state base. Well, they have found a corner now. We commend the nation, even though it's historic. We have not seen proper action after the Inspector General of Police submitted a framework to the National Assembly. They've not approached it with urgency in demand. The security of our nation beyond state police. It calls for a national approach. We need to really be sincere to ourselves. Problems bedeviling us are known to us. Solutions to those problems are known to us. What is lacking is the way to. We are beclouded by sentiments. Primordial. In taking colonial masters back, and they're in the saddle, they will take rational decisions. If we take rational decisions within a space of 2 years, you see the turnaround we're going to have in this country. And until we decide that enough is enough.
So we should.
The tide is at lowest. Working to that point, and we must get this on. The danger is that if you don't control of the, you will not be.
Talking about inviting foreign aid, foreign assistance, but the U.S. military is here. With the last count, 200 boots in Nigeria, 200 soldiers on boot in Nigeria, and on the last count, some equipment came. In the last count, President Bola said is having negotiations with Turkey. In last count, from UK is in the next 10 years, what children will in about a government that promised to end insecurity by all means. Also, don't forget, the president in his birthday, I think 2 weeks ago, he said his salaries will be channeled to the military to encourage them. With all this, Nigeria is still grappling with insecurity. Doctor, let's not. I think we have explained, or we have provided solutions. The issue of technology, the issue of phones, the communication. The intelligence gathering committee have been doing. What really do they do with the intelligence? That is the question we ask ourselves. Every day we hear one incident from here, one incident from there. The DNA people all around Nigeria, and they gather this intelligence, and at the end of the day, you see here killings happen. Is it that they don't use this intelligence? There is a information. The US, the fire. Yes, Iran ceasefire, and Trump said they are going to say that will have the war this Homos come alive. Nigeria is one country that has been beating blue-black with the tension in the Gulf. That fuel prices jumping to over 1,800 and view. So Nigeria is I'm a Nigerian, and I'm a Nigerian state, and it is some of the happiest in news that the ceasefire has been established in US, Iran, and Israel. That we plan in the coming days, we will see. But Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, commended the effort, and he said they should key into international law and international peace. Ensure that you have one or two grievances, but be ready to sacrifice for international peace. The world will be a better place for everybody. I'm trying to get Dr. back. I think the network. Ario is here with the news, but Ario, just tarry a little while. Let me see if I can get Dr. His field of study has to do with international politics as well. So we wanted him to chip in to tell us what his perception is. But Ario, you can tell us. Ario is our economic correspondent on AIT. He's here with the mails. But Ario, what do you make of the ceasefire, Iran and US now?
Well, I think it's a good development for both Iran, US, and Israel. Because for the past 2 weeks, or over 2 weeks, about 4 weeks or so, we've had escalation all over the Gulf, not just between US, Israel, and Iran, but in the Middle East, Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, they've all been hit. And also in Nigeria, the effect is very glaring. We have petrol prices jumping from about 800 naira or 900 naira and now selling about above 1,300 naira. So this has affected transportation costs. People now instead of going to work, they now work from home. So it has disrupted a lot of things. Even inflation, it has disrupted inflation. So I think this ceasefire is a good development. I will hope that it will continue for over 2 weeks that they've agreed on.
Yes, I think I like your contribution. Last week, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, that is the FCT chapter, had a briefing, and they are calling for governments to help workers work from home, maybe 3 days a week, the high cost of transportation, and they should create palliatives. And there is a lot of commendation on the Oyo State government that they created palliatives. That is what government should do. You should look at, yes, we know that it's not Nigerian government that created the crisis in Iran and US, Iran, but if your citizens are suffering, what kind of palliatives do you come up with? Doctor, are you with us? Hello, doctor. Okay. I think he's having network issues. Okay, fine. As we are saying, hello, doctor. It is gladdening to hear that there's a ceasefire in US-Iran, and Nigerians are celebrating already at the 1,300 I bought fuel this morning. Probably it will reduce, it will come down. Come down to below 1,000 and keep dragging downwards because the Strait of Hormuz most likely in the coming hours will be open again for business. Ario, what mails do we have, and what are the people saying? Let's listen to and viewers, as the case may be. Yes.
Have reactions on different developments both around the world and here in Nigeria. But from recent ceasefire agreed on US, Israel, and Iran. That's for 2 weeks. Gochuku Godwin is reacting from Lagos State, and he says we were warned that President Trump can be rational and decide to use nuke on any country that opposes it. It's very realized for him to wipe the Iranian civilization if they open the Strait of Hormuz. This was opened before he started a needless war with Iran. It is estimated that the war is costing US billions of dollars daily. It is heartwarming that reason prevailed and he called a 2-week ceasefire. Already Dangote has increased his gantry price for PMS again because of what is happening in the international markets. It's a pity how a country of over 200 million will depend on a private refinery for a daily consumption. If Dangote and some few modular as third factional party, one state chairman, Onina rejects Nafiu Bala and David Mark Aregbesola faction is quite unfortunate and like a calculated effort to stifle opposition. This is because the unprecedented rise of crisis in factional leaders within ADC is suspicious and seems like sponsored moves in the party to scatter and destabilize it. Sadly enough, the deliberate attempted actions of political moves is dangerous to democracy. The ruling APC should realize that the tenet of democracy is the right to vote and be voted for, the right to contest for the political offices of a country. Here is calling on African Democratic Congress, ADC, to put its house in order and position itself to give the All Progressive Congress a strong challenge in the build-up to the 2027 general election, while the APC under President Tinubu should also allow a level playing field for all and also shun all acts capable of drifting the country Nigeria into a one-party state which is undemocratic and inimical to the welfare of the people. And away from that to reactions on the bus terminal that was destroyed yesterday in Abuja, Effiong Awana from Karo in Abuja says, the recent destruction of the Kugbo ultramodern bus terminal by heavy rainfall yesterday is both alarming and deeply disappointing. This facility, commissioned in June 2025, reportedly remained unused, yet has now suffered near total structural failure. This situation represents not only a significant waste of public funds, but also raises serious concerns about the integrity of public infrastructure. First, it is important to ask whether the engineering department of the ministry properly supervised the construction process, because effective oversight is essential in ensuring that the public project meets required safety and quality standards. Secondly, questions must be raised about the materials used, because the extent of the damage strongly suggests the possibility of substandard material or poor workmanship. The Honorable Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, must take responsibility by initiating a thorough investigation. Those found culpable, including contractors, should be held accountable and compelled to reconstruct the terminal at no cost to taxpayers. And also reacting to that same issue, Henry Yewunono from Abuja says, when buildings collapse, the developer is arrested and in some states, the property confiscated as a deterrent against substandard jobs done. Now, that a public infrastructure which was commissioned but unutilized has been blown away by windstorm and other buildings around there stood intact. Will there be a thorough investigation conducted? Will the developer, supervisors, inspectors, and certifiers of that contract job be brought to book? I pray that the collapsed Kugbo bus terminal will be used as a test case to ascertain if people, especially government officials, have been doing their jobs thoroughly. And lastly, also reacting to that same issue, Emeka from Abuja said, a strong rainstorm has exposed how substandard the newly constructed bus terminal in Abuja are, as it tore the one in Kugbo to shreds, flinging the roofing sheet and supporting metal beams into both lanes of the Kefi Abuja Express, causing heavy traffic gridlock on that road yesterday. It will be recalled that the newly constructed bus terminal, which is still waiting for Federal Executive Council approval to be put into use, was reported to have suffered roof damage in February 2026. To think that those bus terminal number 3 in Abuja got a whopping 51 billion naira to construct, equip, government contractor projects are just meant to enrich some public office holder and their contractor friends.
Okay.
And that's how far we can go on the mail segment on political platform. Keep sending in your mail to political platform at darkgroup.com.
All right. Quickly, we have a breaking news here, and Funke Ogunlolu is right now at a venue of a protest by ADC chieftains. Funke, are you with me?
I'm here with yes, definitely. I'm here with you, and I'm with the one of the ADC chieftains, of course, the District 3 party presidential candidate, talking about Peter Obi. He's here to say one or two things about what's going on today, especially regarding the protest to the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, to speak to him, please.
We're just doing peaceful demonstration. Say we can't have one party in our country. It's a democratic country, and we beg, go, don't kill our democracy. We need it for children of our children. They must have a choice to who listen, and that is good.
Okay, that's all. Now we have other dignitaries here with River State's governor, as former River State Governor Rotimi Aminu Temboa, former Speaker, former Vice President talking about Atiku Abubakar. We have Kwankwaso, of course, you know, the Kwankwaso movement, and host of others. They are all here now, full on ground and ready. The vehicle that is convened down to INEC office is already here. You know, today is the former Senate President, of course, the longest serving Senate President in Nigeria is bit more. So today is his 78th birthday, and all converge, and they're using the occasion to, you know, the platform just for them to proceed and carry out the protest. You know, the protest was supposed to take place last week, and there were heavy security presence in surrounded the headquarters of the
Funke, what are their reactions to the news about new faction came out from the ADC?
I mean, there are opinions regarding that. They said, talk. You know, David Mark, when he was a senator, court cases, he doesn't like to say anything about that. We ask questions. We have the chiefs, most of them. Only ADC, that is a former national chairman, that is a was is told that ADC, that's the group, will try of all challenges facing. Most of them are pointing accusing fingers. APC said yesterday, denying it when we asked, he took it past and asked them, and at the end of this time saying that they are not his fault. And of course, AIG was to catch a presidential candidate of AD to maybe which he said a lot that they stand the few people said that people was. I mean, the former the former national chair, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's wife, that is more influence that move to the ADC.
Okay.
Reception.
Okay. Today marks the 72 hours gave to recognize Mashola. Is this part of concluding that ultimatum?
It's part of it. Yes. So all of them are waiting. Some groups are waiting at the INEC headquarters as we speak. We're yet to meet that so that I will later, update Nigerians on what is happening. Maybe heavy security presence is already there. We don't know yet. Maybe they've been deployed security personnel, just like last week, until when we get to that location.
So they are going to submit a petition to say what now? If you said David Mark doesn't like commenting on issues that are issues that are in court. So what are they going to submit a petition? What are they going there to do? Just to stand or just to see their next chairman?
Just to see the next chairman, of course, just as the normal protest, people go there, protest, chant, and of course submit petition to any representative of INEC. Definitely they'll come out to meet them because, we have every political weight here, going for the protest, which appears, you remember the president then, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu too, to the state. I think in 2015 under President Jonathan Abulu.
You heard what Peter Obi said, that Nigeria cannot be a one-party state. And most people have said that this move by INEC is a calculated attempt to ensure that only the APC remains on the ballot. And we had a chieftain of the APC saying that help will come down if PP and ADC are not on the ballot.
Yeah, just like what one of the APC chieftains said on one of the media TV station, Honorable Farouk, he too was saying something different. He said the ADC is a revenge for the party of the APC. What they took one or so from them, they took who else? One or two chieftains from them. Every fight former governor Kaduna said is part of the people they snatched from the APC. So you see that it's a payback for them. That was the allegation. But when Felix Walker came on Democracy Today, AIT, he denied. He said that honorable Farouk opinion. He is the spokesperson, national spokesperson of the party. I believe the same thing that's happening in ADC.
Okay, all right. Are they set to go now? Do you have any more information for us?
Yes.
Or you are joining them now?
Yeah, we're the next few minutes, because I think they're having a tea break or something, and from there, in the next 10 minutes, they're ready to move from the Bismarck's residence.
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't speak with the birthday boy. We wish him happy birthday, 78th birthday, former Senate President David Mark, and a former Minister of Communication who said that Nigeria was not ripe for GSM then, and telephone was not meant for everybody. Now is in the saddle in the ADC, embattled chairman of the ADC. We wish him happy birthday, 78th birthday, Funke.
And I forgot additional information from there. I heard they are going to the international community, the US, and of course the UK embassy to, of course, go ahead with the protest there to submit the petition to any representative that is willing it. Okay,
now quickly, some persons have said, instead of them going to all those international community, why don't they resolve their internal issue? What would the international community do? Is the international community coming to resolve their internal crisis? Some persons have said, is it the international community that resolved the Nafi Gombe, or that resolved the new guys that came up yesterday?
The thing is, from what we said, if you watch, I'm sure who has watched Democracy Today last night, the former founder came, he said he made his own comments, he said his own position, and of course the other group came to that is the state chairman forum under the ADC. Yesterday they have their neck and said they are the only ADC, they don't have any court case. Now the thing is just that, as it stands, according to the founder of ADC, Raf Nwosu, he said they were part of the protest right from the beginning. They were even in the hall when they are officially handing over to David Mark and his group regarding this. And he's just surprised that they turned back, now blackmailing them. That 4 years yesterday, they have been asking, pleading that they want to join the party, their group. But because they want to retain their position as chairman of their state, that is why they resort to this, because they did allow them. They say they are free to come, but they want to return their positions, which is a new leadership. It is no longer the Raf Nwosu's leadership. It is David Mark and Regbesolah's leadership. So it doesn't have much say. They should just go on the street, and they should go on the field and test their popularity. But now resort to this and accusing that it is APC that is which they denied yesterday. And of course, Jumebi Kachuku, of course, everybody believes that he's loyal to him at the end of the day. But there's one thing, the Obinan, Don Norman Obinan, is the spokesperson and the publicity secretary of the state chairman forum of the own ADC, we can say Jumebi Kachuku's led ADC. He said Raf Nwosu's tenure has expired in August 2022. The over date, which is July 29, 2025, that day is illegal.
Okay. Now
everybody is trying to defend
now,
himself.
If they are making that comment that Raf Nwosu tenure expired 2022, why did Jumebi Kachuku fly his flag in the 2023 election in an expired chairmanship? So they should go back. Let me allow you to go, Funke. Do enjoy your.
At the end of the day, what everybody believes is they should explore before we heard that Rafu was they are going to revert back to status quo, just to be in line with the court's judgments, that it's likely for Rafu to take over the party so that they will start from the scratch, do the needful, maybe just to settle out of court.
All right.
Maybe that is the option for them because of the timeline, electoral timeline.
All right. Thank you, Funke Ogulelu. Thank you, our political correspondent. He's there with Atiku, Peter Obi, and others heading to INEC and international community. Thank you for your time, Funke.
All right.
Yeah. So we wish the ADC all the very best. They are going to INEC now in a protest over the derecognition of David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola on a day that is the birthday, 78th birthday of former the longest serving president of the Nigerian Senate, that is David Mark, and a chieftain, long-time chieftain of the PDP, who jumped ship to the ADC over crisis. And he's here in the ADC, faced with almost similar crisis again. Will he survive it on his birthday? Maybe before he clocks 79, he'll be smiling and say, okay, fine, the ADC is well and good. But the calculation out there is that the faction that came up yesterday will further factionalize the ADC. And according to the Electoral Act, people can now say, okay, the party is factionalized, and they can jump, maybe going to a Labour Party or going to the NDC or going to fresher political parties, because they will say, oh, this party that we think that is a good platform for us is already factionalized. Well, Nigerians, we wish Nigerians all the very best in whichever party they belong. For the APC, we celebrate you. The ADC, we celebrate you. The Labour Party, we celebrate you. The NDC, we celebrate you, because all the political parties are owned by Nigerians. You don't have Lebanese that are leading any political party in Nigeria. You don't have Asians that are coming to lead. It's Nigerians that are leading the parties, and it's Nigerians that are pushing for the parties to occupy political offices. So 2027 is around the corner. It's less than 1 year to that election, and all this hula baloo is channeled towards that. I think April 24th, when there will be party primaries between that time to May 30th. So we wish the political parties all the very best. Internal party democracy is key in any democracy. That's our package for today. Ario, thank you very much for the mails. Thank you, Funke, for joining us, and Dr. Anakwe, thank you for joining us from your held up place for today's edition. I am Abulu Osemahu. Let's do this again.